squirrel, squirrel, squatty, da, do, da, bee, dee, bee. La da 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 da, squeedy, bop, bop, bop. Tell me what you got to eat over there. What do you got to eat over there? I want you to open up your fridge, make a list of everything you got to eat. I'm coming over there. What's in your pantry? Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was. Yeah, it is Wax's podcast. Episode 76. I know I've been gone for a few weeks. I know a lot of you out there, a lot of you listeners out there doubted me. You thought 75. That's going to be the last one. He didn't do it this week, I bet he's done forever, done for the rest of his life. Who knows where Wax is? But he's not going to do a podcast again for sure. Episode 76 of Wax's podcast is something the universe will never witness, never see, never listen to. But I'm here to tell you something. A lot of people have doubted me in my life. You're not the first. I've been doubted many times. And as usual, I sort of prove everybody right and wrong. I do things in a slackerish manner, but I do eventually sort of get them done half-heartedly. So that's me back here for episode 76. Goddamn, I've been doing this podcast for a while now. If I had done it every week, it definitely would be in the triple digits. It definitely would be at least at 100 episodes. But I think I've been doing this shit for damn near 3 years, maybe 2 years anyway. There's not a lot of people out there that can say they've done 76 podcasts. I'm one of the elite. One of the elite human beings. I mean, say what you will about Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, what's his name that walked on the moon? Neil Armstrong, Martin Luther King. Who are the other great? Jesus Christ. Some of you may consider him your Lord and Savior. Some of you may consider him the Lamb of God. Some of you may consider him the shepherd carpenter of Israel, or whatever the names are. But guess what? Jesus never did 76 podcasts. You know? He walked on water. He made one fish turn into a bunch of other fish. You know? Not fishes, fish. That's the plural. Some words are like that, such as fish and deer. In case you didn't know, or you're not a native English speaker, we have a lot of rules in this language, and some of those rules are broken often. And for some reason, some words, fish being one of them, is plural and singular in the same way. I wonder if the band Fish is like that. I guess there wouldn't be more than one of the same band, but if they cloned themselves, would they still be P-H-I-S-H, or would they be P-H-I-S-H-E-S? I don't know, and the world never will know. But I'm here to tell you that I'm one of the elite. One of the elite human beings that have created over 75 podcasts. There's not many people on this earth. I bet you much less than 1% of people on this earth can say that they've done that. So, you know, the point of that is, if you ever think that you ain't shit, if you ever think that you're just below average, just think of something that's below average that you excel at. And there's so many people out there that would never even attempt to accomplish your worthless feat that you're at least elite in something, you know? What I mean by that is this, you know, if you didn't get the underlying message there, the reason that I'm in a class of people that have done over 75 podcasts, and that's such a small class, is because why would anybody want to do 75 podcasts? Most people would consider 75 hours of rambling into a microphone a waste of time. And I guess that's the whole point of podcasting, especially my non-educational, non-informative podcasts. It's to waste your time, which is crazy because you only have a certain amount of time to be on this planet until you fucking die. Huh? Think you're not going to die? You are. We all are. Myself included. So why would we even have the phrase wasting time? Why would we even have people that are ever bored? Why do we want to waste time? Because that's all this podcast is. I mean, I'm essentially doing it right now. I don't know why we'd want to do that. But that's the point. I can't even believe you're listening at this point. Have you hit stop yet? Huh? I already said I'm better than Jesus. I'm not better than Jesus. I'm not better than anyone. But I will tell you one thing. I'm here. I'm in my studio here in lovely Burbank, California. Home of a ridiculous amount of police for some reason. Whenever I leave the studio, like if you're just, for future reference, I actually did, come to think of it, the time that I got a DUI, arrested for drunken driving, which, by the way, I don't do anymore. I never drink and drive. If I ever have too much to drink, I will be responsible and get some type of Lyft or Uber or taxi or whatever it is and make my way in that fashion. But if you ever think you've had too much to drink, please do not drive through Burbank late at night, because for some reason, like when it's, at the studio, I've kind of developed like nighttime hours now. Like I'll leave here anywhere between 2 and 5 in the morning after working on music, and the streets are empty except for cops, and there's just so many of them. I got pulled over the other night, and I was sober as a whistle. If our whistle is that even that's clean as a whistle. All right, my bloodstream was clean as a whistle. So, if they would have told me to blow into the breathalyzer, I would have been like, fucking bring it on, Give me that thing. I'll just, like a slut grabbing a dick, I just put that thing in my mouth and just blow, and it would be clean as a whistle, But don't drive drunk in Burbank. But I've been here. I guess the reason that I haven't been doing as many podcasts the last couple of weeks is because me and my dude Davey have just been working so much that it's kind of hard to have time to go through the emails and get the shit done. And I've been moving. In the process of getting the studio, I decided that, I said this on the last podcast, but I moved from Venice to North Hollywood. I've been spending so much time in the studio. My house is still really just a bunch of boxes. I don't even have a fucking fridge there yet. I've really made a complete 180 to where I was earlier in the year. Early in the year when I did the 100 days of sobriety thing. Not only am I not sober right now, right now as I speak, I'm completely sober. I haven't had any intoxicants at all. But in general, in life, not only am I drinking again, but I'm also, like I said, I don't even have a fridge in my house. So I'm eating out pretty much every meal, eating bullshit. This morning I had a fucking Denver omelet with, they said, you want fruit or hash browns on the side? I said, give me French fries. Had French fries with a fucking toast and delicious strawberry jam. And spending too much money on food, eating the wrong kind of food. I haven't worked out or done any physical exercise. I've just been in here working on music. And the good news is, much to the, whatever. Just forget I said much to the anything. I'm just going to say it. I'm making some pretty good music, y'all. Making some pretty good shit. I don't know exactly when I'm going to put it out, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to put it out. I don't know if I'm making an album, or if I'm making a mixtape, or if I might just drop a bunch of songs, maybe multiple EPs. But it's gonna be some good shit. There's some real standouts in this bunch. So that's where I'm at. This week I've actually been trying to listen to more rap music recently, because I think like having this studio, maybe I've just been rapping so long. The fun that's writing raps and rapping is no longer the funnest part of making the music for me. Like we have like crazy, we got guitars and basses, we got we got a Moog synth from 1972 that just sounds amazing. We got speakers, soundproof walls, like a brand new Roland synth, a Motif keyboard, a Juno synth from 1983 or 82. I don't know, but it sounds incredible. And my boy Davey is so good at playing the shit, and we've just been coming up with all these songs. And what happens, my point is that like I've kind of got to the point where really the fun in it for me is making the music. Making the music and thinking of the melodies and thinking of so I have all these beats with choruses, with hooks rather, however you want to say it, that I still need to write the verses for. And I still like writing verses, I still like rapping and all that, but it's compared to composing the beat, it feels a little bit more like doing homework than just having fun with your friends or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So I'm in the process of writing. Once I sit down to write it, it's always fun, but it just feels like, that feeling when you're a kid and you got to do your homework later. So you just don't end up doing it, You just end up not even fucking doing it because you don't feel like it. That's kind of where I'm at, you know what I mean? But have no fear. If you enjoy my music, there is some coming. But yeah, I've been listening to some rap this week because, when you listen to people rapping, especially people rapping either really well or really bad. Whoa, look, technical difficulty there. Fucking error on my computer. I never get errors on this computer. The CPU overload Pro Tools error. I never get it except when I'm doing podcasts. Maybe it's because it's just such a long stream of recording in a row. I don't know why that is. But good thing is it didn't erase. What was I saying? Oh yeah, when you listen to people rapping, either if they're rapping really well or really bad, like a middle ground rap, like average rap is not that inspirational. But if it's really good, you're like, damn, I want to rap like that. And if it's really bad, especially like if somebody's looked at as being quote unquote large or quote unquote great, quote unquote famous, or people like them, and then you listen to their raps and the shit is just basic, which is a lot of people, by the way. There's a lot of Emperor's New Clothes rappers out there, man. I don't know what it is. I think a lot of young people, if the first rap you're listening to is people that are average, and that might be amazing to you because you ain't heard good shit before. So I think that's what a lot of shit is going on. I think a lot of that is going on right now. I'm not going to name any names, but there's certain people that I listen to that I'm like, all right, the game needs me. If this is the game needs me because I need to kill people. You know what I mean? Not literally, maybe literally, but you never know. I'm fucking so crazy. I might fuck around and do something like that. Nah, it's like I would never do anything violent. I'm not a violent person. I don't even like watching UFC because it's just too violent. I don't like watching people's heads get beat and shit like that. But I digress, as I always do. I've been listening to the new J. Cole album today. So if you want to know my review of the J. Cole album, well, first of all, let me preface this by saying you can't really review an album until you've sat with it. Like, that's what I don't like about music review. I tweeted the other day that, this is probably a couple weeks ago, I tweeted that there should be a site where people criticize criticism. Because these motherfuckers deserve to be criticized. These people that fucking, they make their living by listening to an album one fucking time. And they did because the shit comes out and the next day they got a review. In my opinion, you can't really review an album unless you've listened to it at least 10 times. At least 5 times. And like really grasp what's going on. And with certain people, you got to kind of listen to something 3 times before you really understand certain lines and certain things or certain feelings and vibes that they're trying to convey, So I think there should be a site or a blog or whatever, magazine, something, I don't know, where people criticize criticism. Because I think a lot of critics fucking suck, but there's never anybody to put them in check. And they're always saying the shit like, well, I have an opinion. My opinion counts. Everybody has an opinion. I have the right to their opinion. Yeah, I got my right to your opinion. I got my right to my opinion that your opinion sucks. So, and I'm not even talking about people who criticize my music. That's fine. I'm talking about just general, the way people criticize music. I've read criticism where they don't even talk about the music. They talk about bullshit-ass TMZ type shit about somebody for 75% of the article. So, you know what I'm saying. So the J. Cole album I've been listening to, I'll tell you what, man. J. Cole is not one of the rappers I was talking about. He's not an Emperor's New Clothes rapper. And if you're not familiar with Emperor's New Clothes, I mean, I don't know how you cannot be familiar with that. It's like an old tale. There's an emperor, right? And he has all these yes men around him, essentially. And this con man comes in. He's a tailor. The emperor is sick of his clothes. He wants some new fucking threads. So there's this tailor that comes in, and he's like, yo, I'm the best tailor in the land. And he comes back, and he hands basically nothing to the emperor. He says, this is the best fabric in the world. It's so good that only fools can't see it. So the emperor, thinking that he's not a fool, but he actually is kind of thinking he is a fool because he can't see it, acts like he's putting on the clothes, starts talking about how beautiful he is. Then when he parades around town, everybody's like, dude, the fucking guy's naked. So that's the point. And what I mean is, like, some of these rappers, they just get a bunch of praise, and people see the praise, so they just accept the fact that it's good. But J. Cole is not one of those people. I've been listening to his album today. Listened to it probably twice. Granted, I was kind of running around doing tasks and shit, so I didn't get a full grasp. But I will say that it's mad emotional. It's like serious as shit, you know. Not a lot of fun times in J. Cole's music. It's real deal, serious, emotional pianos, you know. Which maybe I'm just an asshole. Maybe I'm just getting. I think that emotionally I'm kind of bankrupt, you know. Like I question if I even have the ability to like really fall in love with a girl anymore. I don't know why that is, but sometimes when people convey emotion, I just want to be like, get the fuck out of here. But that being said, you know, I was really feeling some of the tracks, man. He had a whole song. Actually, the one song that was kind of even the fun song on the album was he's got to be bad serious with it. But he had that song about how he lost his virginity, and I thought that was dope. I thought that was a real cool concept for a song, and really well executed, and just ballsy, man. You know, because most rap dudes got to be so fucking machismo, so macho, and for him to kind of take it down to that level, I thought that was really cool. And he had some, what'd he say? He said, "Played out, son, because I ain't been in pussy since I came out." One. He says throughout the whole thing, he says a lot of slick shit. He says a lot. He like you know, as far as like bars, like battle rap fan type shit, like he definitely says some shit in there. So I recommend it, man. I recommend J. Cole's album a lot. Definitely had some elements of Kendrick in there too. I feel like Kendrick's Good Kid, Mad City album has really been extremely influential. Like there was one song on there especially, I think it was called The Tale of Two Cities, that like straight up, the one where there's like hands up, nah, run it. Like that shit sounded so much like a song off Good Kid, Mad City to me. That was crazy. Even at the end, he had him and the girl singing. It sounded just like the girl on Money Trees. But I heavily recommend it, man. Good shit. Especially considering the landscape of stuff that's out there, for that album to be such a big album and well received, I think that's a good thing. You know what else is good? I haven't listened to the whole thing, but I heard a couple tracks off it. Fucking Royce the 5'9" and DJ Premier put out an album together. I need to get that. I haven't listened to it yet, but I heard like 2 songs off of it, and damn, Royce the 5'9" is a good ass rapper, man. That motherfucker has bars. And of course, DJ Premier's beats, classic. Can't touch him. Classic hip hop shit. I grew up on DJ Premier. I grew up fucking. He had more influence on me than just about anyone else musically. You know, when I was in a band, we used to always try to make our shit sound like Premier beats. And you know, when I think of quote unquote real hip hop, that's what I think of. And it's kind of almost stereotypical. Like when you like, you know, somebody like Jay-Z or somebody like Eminem or Nas, people that are big like that, you know, the quote-unquote heads, or if they want to say, yo, I just wish that they would do some hip-hop shit, they'll always say, like, why can't he just do an album with Premier? So I can't wait to hear the rest of it, because I'm all about that kind of shit, too. So I can't wait to hear the rest of that, but you know what I wanted to casually mention on the side is how fucking funny Royce the 5'9"'s name is. You don't think about it because it sounds good and you're used to it, and you've been hearing Royce the 5'9" forever. You've been hearing that name and it sounds good. But he said his name and then how tall he is. He's the 5'9" because he's 5'9" tall. Now, if you were 7'3" or 4'11", I could understand that because you're kind of defined by your height. When you have a strange height, like if Bushwick Bill was billed a 4'3", I'd be okay with that. If Manute Bol started rapping, rest in peace, and he was Manute the 7'6" or whatever he is, I get that. He's freakishly short, freakishly tall. But it doesn't really make sense to me to define yourself in your rap name by your height when your height is 5'9". Isn't that like, let me look it up. I'm going to look it up right now. Hold up. I hadn't really thought about this, but I just have to, what's the average male height. No, that's not possible. That's not possible. That's not possible. Whoa, 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 whoa. No way. No way. It says 5 feet 4 inches. But then I said, I looked at it and it says, that's for female. Average, oh, snap. The average height of a male is 5'9". Swear to God, look that shit up. Look it up. So, if you are literally the average height for males, to call yourself, like, you must really not have had much to think about yourself, much to say about yourself, if you define yourself by your height and your height is literally the average height for males. That's kind of strange. And that's somebody's gonna go and tweet like, "Yo, man, that Big Wax was dissing you." I'm not dissing him, man. Royce is, actually think, especially after the song I heard the other day with him in Premiere, he's got to be one of the best pound for pound rappers out right now. Got to be. Fucking incredible. But you know, when young Royce, it must have been like a last minute decision. Like he was rapping in ciphers, rapping in freestyles and shit, whatever. Probably rapping in battles with Eminem, like back in those days, 8 Mile style. And his name was Royce. And people be like, that's it? Royce? I mean, personally, I think that's a pretty cool name in itself. And he was like, what do I want to be? I could be Rolls Royce. You know what I'm saying? Royce, rolling on you. Rolls Royce. Nah. Could be like Royce the Voice. You know what I'm saying? But it must have been a situation where he only had a second to make it up. This is what happened. He was in the studio, his friend's home studio. He was fucking around, drinking Hennessy, recorded a verse. Little did he know that was going to come out on vinyl, like back in those days, or on tape. So all of a sudden, he had to make, like, he got a call. Yo, we're pressing up the vinyl right now. We're featuring what? And he's like, fucking, I don't know his last name, Royce Williams. Like, nah, man, you can't just be Royce. Maybe he's got a real bad last name. Royce McGillicuddy. And no, you can't be Royce McGillicuddy, dog. It sounds too fucked up. You don't look like a Royce McGillicuddy. What do you look like? He's like, well, I'm 5'9". Yeah, Royce the 5'9" tall. So once it got on that vinyl or tape or whatever it was, that shit stuck. And now, 20 years later, or however long ago he made up his name, he's Royce the 5'9". And luckily it sounds cool. It rolls off the tongue. Royce the 5'9", like, it really rolls off the tongue. It sounds good. But, you know, if you really think about it, he's defining himself by something by literally the least interesting thing about himself. So that's my take on that. I don't know why the fuck I'm talking about that. I don't know what else to talk about today. Didn't I write down something? Empty Cartier boxes. I don't really want to. My boy Davey. Davey is the dude. I want to have him on the podcast. I want to talk to him about his life and shit. He's a real cool dude, interesting cat, musician, brilliant musician. Worked with me a lot. He helped me produce a bunch of the shit on my last album, Dreamin', the song Continue. If would have tried harder, I think he helped with, and I don't know, bunch of shit. He's from Israel. He moved here when he was young, went to Berklee College of Music. Now he's out here in L.A. and he's been out here a while. And he like the other day, he was playing with, there's like a Democratic Party fundraiser, and he was the piano player playing with Christina Aguilera, and not the name drop, but he's worked with everybody. He's played with everybody. Patti LaBelle, Tony Braxton, fucking New Kids on the Block he toured with for a long time. He's one of those dudes in L.A. that's like a musician, and he's kind of trying to be less of a touring guy and more of a songwriter, blah, blah, blah. Me and him found a partnership, and we're working on shit. Anywho, one of his big clients, he was telling me the story the other day that they were setting up their Christmas decorations. And they got the tree, and they had their assistant go out. The assistant had to go out to the mall and go to a bunch of stores, like the designer stores, like Cartier, I think is, I don't know what the fuck I don't know much about designers, but whatever those like high level designers are, you know what I mean? I don't know. Go listen to a Kanye West rant and just write down listen to a recent Kanye West rant and just write down any name. When he says an actual person's name, write that down. And there's stores out there that have those people's names on them, and you go buy sunglasses for $3,000 or whatever. So this person had their assistant go out to a bunch of stores like this, which there's tons of them in LA. You know, there's Rodeo Drive and shit like that. The Beverly Center. They got all these kind of stores. So she had to go out there and just be like, hey, guy behind the desk at Cartier, can you give me like just 4 empty bags and like 5 empty boxes? Travel around that, and then they just put that all around the tree. Just empty fucking boxes. Put that all around the tree just to make it like look like something. And I just thought that was like a metaphor for that person's life, you know? It's just show. It's just this fucking show business world. And what's inside? What's inside? Because I know that this person's kind of like a weird, standoffish, manic depressive, you know, that probably has mad plastic surgery, can't go outside without literally having a makeup and hair person attend to them, you know. And it's just like this weird shell. It's like an Easter egg with no fucking hard-boiled egg in the middle, or no candy for the child. Like, I just thought empty Cartier boxes was maybe I'll make a song about it. I just thought that was a cool metaphor for what happens to these kind of people. It doesn't have to be celebrities either. It's like those fucking Orange County housewives or whatever. You know, just like this fucking shell of silicone and Botox and hair products and makeup and fancy clothes, fancy cars. And it doesn't put anything inside. It's just a box, you know. Inside you have nothing, and all the stuff on the outside is looking to fulfill, but it never actually does. And you'll find that, y'all, if you ever have a bunch of fucking money, you might not be as happy as you thought you'd be. Hey, what is your dream? What do you want to be? I don't know. But whatever you are and what you want to be, if you want to be something, be successful, that doesn't mean you're going to be happy. It's going to be an empty Cartier box. I don't know why the fuck I'm talking about that either. You know why I don't know what I'm talking about? Because I never do. As I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, I just talk. I just try to waste your time. I see you driving your car in traffic. What else are you going to do but listen to me talk? I see you at your cubicle. I don't think that I've never been in a cubicle. I don't think I never had a real job. I'd probably be listening to a lot of podcasts too. Do I have anything else written down? I guess I'll talk about that. I wrote down a quote that I said the other day, and it just made me think about how weird and abstract the whole concept of music is. Me and Davey were working on a song, right? And it's actually one of the best songs we're working on. It's my song, and it's just about it's called Living Foul. It's just about you get old. It's kind of about what I've been doing the last couple of months, you know. You know, you get old, you're supposed to settle down. Have kids, have a wife, get some sleep. Don't be going out and drinking, stuff like that. But some of us, we don't accept that. And we just keep living foul, and then you start to feel that shit catch up to you. When you're young, you're out there, you're doing your drugs, you're drinking your pot, smoking your beer, you know. You wake up the next day, go to work, give a couple high fives, nothing, no big deal. But there comes a day when it catches up to you. And it can catch up to you in many different ways. And you hope that the way it catches up to you is not liver failure or lung cancer. That's what you hope. But it might. You get to that age, and you're still living foul. You know, you got that uncle. He's an alcoholic. He's barely making it. It's a miracle he's not homeless. I say that a lot about myself. It's a miracle that I'm not homeless. Thank God. No way I would survive in the streets. I don't even remember what. Oh yeah, that it doesn't matter what that song was about. My point is this: in the last hook, a lot of times in music, you'll end the song by playing the chorus, and you'll add a bunch of shit. Maybe people talking, a guitar solo, some extra organs, a little bit more festive drums. We were working on that aspect of the song, and we put in this ride cymbal. It's a cool sounding ride cymbal, and it was going, on the offbeats, like where you would hit a reggae, guitar, and just wasn't sounding right to me. And I said, Davey was liking it, and I wasn't liking it. And I said, I like the, I like the idea. I said, I like the idea of that ride cymbal in theory, but just not in practice. And I just thought, it just made me think of how weird and abstract the whole concept of music is. Like, it's just a ride cymbal. What does that even mean that you like it in theory and not in practice? But it makes sense. Just like a thing that's commonly said in studios about little trinklets that you put in music, where people say, and I say it all the time, this is to be felt, not to be heard. And it's just strange. Like, the longer I make music, the longer I do this, the more often I do this, I just think, like, it's just sound, You make a song, it's just 3 minutes of sound. It usually happens to follow some type of rhythmic pattern. And the type of music that I like, and then the type of music that's popular here, it tends to be in the 4/4 variety. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. I don't know why. Why do we feel that? Why don't we feel 5? Why don't we feel 10? How come music is always in 4? Not always, fucking metalheads that listen to shit in 17, 18 time signature. Not always, I know. But it generally is in popular music. Then when we count, everything's in 10s. Why is that? I don't know. The whole concept is abstract. There was a time where we didn't have time. Look it up. It wasn't 3 o'clock. It wasn't 4 o'clock. Somebody had to separate that shit into seconds. I don't understand that. I don't understand why we like certain sounds and we don't like other sounds. I don't understand why certain sounds are sad. Why there's this many notes. Why we never play shit that's in between the notes. I don't know. It's just a big, abstract, stupid world. And the more I do it, the stranger it is, but it's just one of those mysteries that we'll never unlock. Podcast. Skibbity bee, skibbity boo. What you got to eat over there? Me and my brother were doing that today on the phone. Every time I talk to my brother on the phone, we have like a new stupid thing we're doing. For some reason, we're doing this shit. Like, if you picture kind of like a heavy-set dude, he calls you up and you're like, hello? And he's just sitting in his chair, like rubbing his belly. Hey, let me ask you something. What you got to eat over there? Open up your pantry. Open that pantry up. Just tell me what you got to eat over there. Is your refrigerator open? Can you read the contents off to me? What you got to eat over there? Yeah. Hey, check. Is this thing still on? I don't know. I don't know if this thing's still on. I hope so. But, yeah, with all that being said, let me get to some questions and shout-outs. All right, check. Is this thing on? Skibbity-bee. Skibbity-bee-bop, we rock. Scooby-doo. Well, guess what? America, we love you. Well, with the rock and the roll, and there's so much soul. You can rock till you're 101 years old. I don't mean to brag. I don't mean to boast, but we're like hot butter on your breakfast toast. Yes. Okay. Questions. Shout-outs. Before I get into this, let me let you guys know I'm exactly a month behind on the emails. So if you emailed me a bit less than a month ago, I just haven't gotten to you yet. Thanks everybody for sending the emails. Got some good ones this week. I think I got a lot of ones that are about my own shit. So I don't know, whatever. Shout outs are Grant C, Nate the Plate from Michigan. Nate the Plate. Not to be confused with fucking Goon the Spoon or fucking Joel the Bowl. He's friends with Joel the Bowl. Fucking Mork the Fork. Nate the Plate from Michigan. And he wants to give a shout out to Pharaoh the Earthworm. Says he is a dope rapper. Let me tell you something. I listened to Pharaoh the Earthworm CD in our van on tour, and I couldn't agree more. He is a dope rapper, so I recommend checking him out. John P., John Perignon, shout out to you. My man TJL, shout out to the one, the only, Geoff. Of course, shout out to him. We got Eddie M. Eddie M is at McCall brand. I think it's MCal brand. Check it out. It's a music, culture, art, life brand website. So it's MCALBRAND.com. Good looking website. Got a lot of music stuff on there, a lot of art stuff, just general creativity. I think he's doing some good shit over there. So shout out to you, Eddie M. Excuse me. Where are we at? King Barbecue. Shout out to King Barbecue. We got Joey W. from Alabama, who recommends Aziz Ansari. Very funny comedian. I actually saw him live. Me and my friend went to a comedy fest, and he was there, and he was very funny. So thank you, Joey W. from Alabama. Gucci Messiah from Maryland, who recommends the rapper Logic. Says he grew up with the rapper Logic in Gaithersburg, Maryland. That is a person that I should check out more of their stuff. Somebody who represents Maryland and somebody who I have not really listened to that much and need to check out. So shout out to you, Gucci Messiah. It's like no girls this time. EJP, that's really not shocking for some reason. EJP. Dimitri, who recommends Run the Jewels too. I have heard that, and I will second that. I really like the shit that Run the Jewels is doing. Definitely some hard-ass beats. Mick Dillinger. It's Nick Dillinger. Check out his mixtape. His mixtape is called Very Special Herbs. You can find that on Bandcamp. And he calls it Very Special Herbs because he's rapping over MF Doom beats. If you're familiar with Doom, he has the Special Herbs series where he just drops his instrumentals. So check out Nick Dillinger on Very Special Herbs. I feel like I'm a real radio host guy today doing the shout-outs. We got JC from Manitoba. JC from Manitoba, who actually originally recommended me to the One Good Wheel, all one word, One Good Wheel Radio. That's a podcast with a dude, kind of punk rock kind of dude who talks about his family and has a great Canadian accent. So I recommend that too. We got Kieran from Melbourne. We got Nikki Gwiggs. And last but most certainly not least, we have Matt from Federal Hill. Federal Hill is in Baltimore, Maryland, and it is a place where young people drink extremely excessively. Every time that I used to do shows at the 8x10. I mean, I've been playing at the 8x10 for fucking ever. I played the old 8x10. But before they tore it down, changed it to the Funk Box, and now it's called the 8x10 probably because the Funk Box sounded like the name for an asshole. And nobody wants to go inside and see a show inside of somebody's anus. But every time you go there, and I've been to every fucking city in America practically, and when I go there, it's to work, and I work in the industry of people partying. And, after the show, you'll see bars letting out and all that shit. But compared to Federal Hill specifically, not even Fells Point, compared to Federal Hill specifically, every single time when you're leaving the show, I mean, there's people falling down in the street, girls falling out of bar windows and shit. Like, it's the most, never seen the level of drunkenness that I have from people except Federal Hill. And I guess at like fucking college frat parties and stuff like that. But it's a crazy place, fun place. All right, let's start with Trevor from Sacramento. A little correction, kinda, but correction by him, sorta. Hey Wax, just heard the podcast where you're talking about Mims. And This Is Why I'm Hot. He had another hit too called Move that was better. I actually don't remember that song. But Mims is actually a decent rapper, but his only songs to hit were the epitome of dumbed down. Just thought I'd chime in. And much like in a newspaper article, if you say the wrong information, every day the newspaper has like a little correction section. And I wanted to kind of put this into this podcast just to say, I don't know if Mims is good or not. I literally only know one of his songs. And I have a song that, especially in certain parts of the world, but in general, people know me by one song and consider me a one-hit wonder. So that song to them is what I am. And I don't know what Mims is. So I wanted to say he could be the fucking illest motherfucker alive. And I don't even know if I was saying anything negative about This Is Why I'm Hot, but that's certainly all I know him for. So I wanted to read that. Okay, now I gotta. This is like a really, really long thing from Ryan M, the songwriter. It's not that it's really long. It's just a bunch of different little questions. So I'm gonna go through this email from Ryan M, the songwriter, real talented dude. I hope he fucking makes it in this shit, man. He's one of the few that is fucking good. I don't know. Most people send you their shit, and it's not that good, I don't know. All right. Kendrick's I song. Good? Question mark. Bad? Question mark. Strange to hear from Kendrick? Question mark. All right, this is my opinion on that song. The original song that's sampled from, it's basically, the beat is basically a remake of Who's That Lady by the Isley Brothers. When I was a kid, I loved that song. Granted, the best part of the song, that weird guitar that's on it, like that's the part of the song that I really gravitated to. I want to say like did the Beastie Boys or something, somebody sample that back in the day? I don't know. But I have such an affinity and like for that song that when I first heard the Kendrick song, I was like, fuck yeah, doing that. And I heard that he actually fucking talked to Ron Isley about it and asked permission before he did it. I thought that was cool. Now the actual hook of that song, I love myself. The world is like it's cool. It's cool. People say it's like the same vibe as Pharrell Happy. I don't hear it. I don't think it's the same vibe as that. I think it's a different vibe. I know that song I is really divisive. I've heard people say that it's one of their favorite Kendrick songs. I've heard people say they love it, and it definitely takes Kendrick to soccer moms. It definitely like takes him there. It could be like more on some B.O.B. shit or whatever, obviously, than most of his stuff on Good Kid, Mad City. But, I have a friend was at my studio the other day talking about how bad that song was. And I was like, man, it's not that fucking bad. Like, he's still spitting on it. He's still doing his thing. And to say I love myself, it's a good message. Granted, I can't fucking relate to that, but I wish I could. Yeah, so it's not my favorite song by Kendrick. My favorite song by Kendrick is Money Trees. That shit is one of my favorite songs of all time. But yeah, I think I mentioned that song twice today. That shows you how much I like it, I suppose. But yeah, my opinion on that is, I think it's good. Strange to hear from Kendrick? No, I don't think it's strange. I don't think it's strange at all. I think he's a superstar now. He does superstar shit. That's what people like him do. He's a champion. He's inspiring people. He's saying positive things to a very large audience. I don't find it strange at all. I think it's good. I think if anything, you could say that song is positive for humanity. Because you could have, like, what's that song? I'm in love with the Coco. I kind of just got put onto that song. Like, what if Kendrick could put out that? That shit's crazy, man. That shit's crazy. But especially with the video, Jesus. Watch that shit if you haven't seen it yet. There's a song called, I think it's called Coco, C-O-C-O. It's real popular. You probably heard it. It's real popular, but it's just with the song and the video, it's just like, I love cocaine. I'll sell cocaine and then I'll kill you. Granted, this is the same kind of shit that's been talked about in hip hop forever, but especially as I grow older, it's just like, I see this and it's just like, dude, it's just bad for the world, man. It's just fucking bad. Like, I can't deny it anymore. I've talked about this on a past podcast. I don't think I was talking about violence. I think I was just talking about materialism. and how like just cars, money, and cocaine, cars, money, and champagne and stuff like that. To me, it's just I don't care. Like I don't fucking care that you drive a S46 7. I just don't care. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I just don't care. But you know that, like, in all honesty, as an adult, as a man that has formed into an adult male that has opinions based on things that I've seen and experiences that I've had, there is no fucking denying that that song and video, I'm in love with the Coco, is not positive for humanity. It's not. It's people, young kids are impressionable, and they watch shit like that and they think that that's cool when it's fucking not. You know, I was telling my boy the other day, like, I honestly I'm not really mad at the drug thing. I understand drugs. I understand that completely. I understand why people do drugs. I understand how people get joy out of drugs. Like, people talking about Molly, people talking about, even champagne or getting drunk or whatever. I get that. I understand that. I never had a problem with it. Everybody's like, oh, dude, fucking Molly, it's fucking bad for the kids. Yeah, whatever. They're going to do drugs. We're built to do drugs. I've talked about it before. What are we built to do? We're built to reproduce. How do we do it? It's fucking. Why do we want to fuck? Because we want to have an orgasm. What is an orgasm? It is getting high. We are built. Human beings are built to want to get high. I dare you to argue that with me. But what I just can't fuck with is fucking violence, man. I just saying it's cool to kill somebody. I cannot. Granted, I listen to music like that all the time. I grew up on music like that, but like, it's just not, man. It's not cool to catch a body and fucking make somebody's mother cry and forget about how, they fucking raised this person in diapers and they fucking put him through school and they kissed him and told him they loved him, and now they're fucking in a casket because you want to be cool. No, I can't back that. And the older I get, the more I just feel like, I don't know. There's nothing you can really do about it, I don't come from that lifestyle either, but just killing people, man. It's just like, life is valuable, So how do I feel about Kendrick putting out that song? I feel great about it. Fucking love yourself, Because if you love yourself, you can love other people. And if you're killing people, you probably don't give a fuck about your own life really that much. At least not in the long run. I don't know. But that's, I guess, what I got to say about that. Next question. This is still Ryan M., the songwriter's email. He just sent me a bunch of questions. So I'm trying to... I was going to address them each shortly, but I guess that answer for the first one was pretty long. Iggy and Snoop. I'm not really interested, but it was in the news. That's the whole thing he said. And granted, that kind of shows you like how far back and behind I was in the emails, because that feels like it was a while ago. I guess the Iggy Azalea and Snoop Dogg had a beef on Instagram or Twitter. I just don't give a shit about it. I just couldn't not care less. I can tell you that I don't I don't like Iggy Azalea. I don't know what Snoop said. I didn't really keep up with that, so maybe he stepped over the line. I don't know what he said, but I can't listen to Iggy Azalea. Can't do it. Man, it's just so cringeworthy to me. Granted, I might be cringeworthy to other people. I get that. I completely get it. I'm cringeworthy. I watch my own shit sometimes and cringe, but not like her, dude. Not like her. I mean, dude, you should, if you get a chance, if you're really bored, which you probably are a lot if you listen to this, watch Iggy Azalea did a performance on Saturday Night Live recently, and it looked like a parody to me. Like, it literally looked like some early 90s Vanilla Ice parody. It was crazy. That's what I got to say about that. All right. Next, Venice by Anderson .Paak. I haven't, because he's asking me a bunch of questions. He's like, these are some other questions. Okay, so he's just asking me to review Venice by Anderson .Paak. Come on, dog. Anderson .Paak, a.k.a. Breezy. Breezy's probably the most talented person I fucking know. Like, I've seen him work. I've seen him play live. I've seen him play instruments. I've seen him write songs. Seen him fucking rap. Like, he's better than everybody I know at anything musical. So just start with that. And then, it's a fucking amazing album. It's an amazing album. I recommend it heavily. Venice by Anderson .Paak. And congratulations to him, man. I know there's no way he listens to my podcast, but he's killing it right now, man. He just did a big-ass tour with Watsky, then he jumped right on a tour with Janae Aiko, who I hear is a big fan of him. So that's awesome. And a lot of people I know are on that tour. Breezy and Jose, their whole crew, the Free Nationals with Low Def, Kelsey, and then my boy Ron is on the same tour because he's the musical director. I think he's the musical director. I know he's the keyboard player for fucking Willow Smith. And Willow Smith is on that tour with Janae Aiko and now Anderson .Paak. I still feel weird calling him Anderson .Paak. Like, I can't call him that to his face. Like, he's just... It's like if you have a friend and, you call them their name. You know, there's people that I've met that they met me as Wax, and they like it'd be like them calling me Mike. It's just weird, you know. But I understand the name change though. All right, yeah, go get that shit. These are some other questions. Were there any tracks that you loved to start with and hated by the end, or tracks that you weren't crazy about in the beginning, but turned out to be one of your stronger tracks? I'm assuming that means my own music. I guess, yeah, your stronger tracks. I always do. I don't know if I can think of any that I put out, but I always, here in the studio, there's always stuff like where you love something and then after a while you're like, man, this is not that good. That happens in music a lot. Tracks I wasn't crazy about, but turned out to be one of my stronger tracks. Nah, I'm usually I don't know. I usually kind of have the same vibe. Like if I like the shit a lot, I usually continue to. I can tell you that it's not like I go like I only listen to my own music. Listening to my own music that I'm not currently working on, I do that like the way that you look at your high school yearbook, or the way that you look at an old picture, or the way that you go through your old, like every once in a while, I don't know if you do this, but like probably once a year, like I'll just like go through my own Instagram and just like look at it and be like, oh, that was fun, just reminiscing. That's how I listen to my old albums. Like once a year, I'll listen to like me and my brother's album, Grizzly Season, and it's just reminiscing. And I don't know, and it's not often that I have a song by myself that I listen to a lot. I remember that song Everything, and a song called Everything on Scrub Life that I always listen to myself. And on my last album, the song Continue, I would actually listen to by myself. But I don't usually listen to my own music that much. It's just too much of your own fucking voice. It's like, shut up, dude. I hear you in my head all the time. All right, what? There's another question about myself. I love myself. What do you consider to be your best film performance? Unfilmed? My best filmed performance is Pay Cut. Wax on. I don't know if it's me personally, but just that performance, like, cause it's the whole band and everything. And it's just fun. I think my favorite at least filmed performance of myself is Wax Unplugged, Pay Cut, and my brother's there and shit's awesome. Unfilmed. My best unfilmed performance, I don't know, but my best thing I've done unfilmed was one time I did this crazy freestyle. I remember when me and my brother lived at this place called the Big House in Maryland. It was like a big fucking house in College Park, and like 8 people lived there. And I just remember like me and Chris and a couple other friends were freestyling in his room back when he got the beats off LimeWire. You had all the fucking primo instrumentals on LimeWire, all the Big L freestyles on LimeWire, shit like that. I remember just something happened during my freestyle where I felt like I kind of had an out-of-body experience. Like, something happened where it wasn't even me controlling. I mean, this is kind of what happens when you freestyle or improvise in general. If you're a jazz pianist or whatever you do, kind of have an out-of-body experience when you improvise. And you're just completely in the moment or whatever. But there was something different that happened that day that was just really powerful. And I kicked the illest freestyle like that I've ever done. I've never done one better. Remember, I started calling out rappers and shit and saying just really amazing shit on the fly. That was my best performance I've ever had that wasn't filmed. It's just because it was just in my mind. It was like some religious shit. I don't know. That's not to brag. It was just remarkable. You know. All right. Describe the first time you were recognized for your music. I guess that means like somebody recognized me. I don't know what the first time was, man. I don't know. I don't know what the first time was, but I can tell you that the most interesting times were when Rosanna was a big song out in Germany, and I landed at the airport, and a few different like young kids recognized me, and they were like, "Holy shit!" Because I was like, it was like a MTV type of deal over there, you know. These young little 13-year-old girls and shit were like, "Oh my god." So that was the most interesting time I got recognized. I always get recognized in LA, especially here in the Valley, and when I go to Koreatown. A lot of kids in Koreatown recognize me through Dumb. All right, how do you want to be remembered? For instance, if there were a couple people sitting in a bar, how would you like them to finish this sentence? Wax, Mike, was. Oh man, I don't know what they would say. The sad thing is now that they would definitely say I was a fucking drunk. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to quit drinking, y'all. I'm going to quit drinking for the entire year next year. Entire fucking year. I did 100 days this year. I'm going to do the whole fucking year next year and see what happens, man. I need to take this rap shit to the limit, man. And I'm not going to go into details. I'm just going to let it be more of a private thing, but it's just a problem, man. It's like I was saying earlier when when shit starts to catch up. And it's just I'm gonna try to quit the whole year next year and see how I feel. It's more of an experiment than anything, but it's just whatever. Anything that can be done with alcohol, anything that can be experienced, I've experienced it. So I'm not gonna do it next year. It's gonna be really fun. Yeah. So how do you want to be remembered? Sitting in a bar. I hope they just say I was a nice person, man. I'm not a big legacy. Somebody actually posted on Instagram, like, leave a legacy. Like, shit's gonna be forgotten, man. Name one person from the fucking 1500s. All that. I mean, there might one or two motherfuckers you remember, but like, all that legacy shit is bullshit to me, man. It's all everybody just kind of died. Like all the presidents from the early 1800s. I don't even know. I don't even know. Yeah, whatever name I say is gonna be the wrong time period. But like anybody that was around that time, we don't even remember them. They didn't even have recorded music back then. We don't know who the biggest fucking guy was back then. 200 years from now, nobody's gonna give a fuck about Jay-Z. So I don't know. It's just I just don't care what people say about, as long as they don't say he was a fucking murderer or a rapist. You know what I mean? Just if they say he's a good dude, that's cool with me. My point is I don't need them to say I was a fucking great rapper or something. I don't care about that. What caused your? I mean, I care about being a good rapper, but that's, I don't know. What caused your most recent inspiration? Oh man, yeah. You know what caused my most recent inspiration was a beat that I heard on Instagram. I follow Knots on Instagram. One of his beats. I actually hit him up to see if I could get it. I don't know what he'll say, but I just heard it and I started writing to it. I also was inspired by we had a guest in our studio recently who's just really talented, and being around this person was really inspirational too. Been feeling mad inspired recently. I've just been feeling music, kind of comes in waves. And right now I'm at the high point. Like I'm just really feeling it right now. But, all right. When you reach your goal, mine is to make a living by making music. How do you stay motivated without necessarily taking steps toward your next goal? Is it possible to ever live a satiated life as a human being without some unsettling, ambiguous carrot dangling in front of us? That's a really interesting question. I've talked about this on the podcast before. The problem with having success is, I'm not just saying this now. When I first moved to LA, I remember saying this to everybody. I was like, they'd be like, "What's your goal?" I'd be like, "Dude, I just don't want a regular job. I want to make a living making music." But the thing is, once you get there, you have to have a bigger goal. No matter how big you get or how much, it's like this weird thing where you have to, like you said, you have to have some next goal. And I don't think that that's a way that you don't. I don't think you have to do it like that. I think there are human beings that aren't unsettled, that are content. You know, I think contentment is a very underrated value, a very underrated thing that fulfills us, a thing to be fulfilled by. Contentment. You know, the people that achieve this, I think a lot of times they do shit like meditation and yoga, or just spiritual shit in general. I think those people, you know, like my brother's wife is like that. Like I like she doesn't have this strange, like she's happy with what she's happy. She's in her world. She has her family. She has her kids. She does yoga, and you know, she doesn't have this sense of that carrot that you're constantly chasing that's dangling in front of yourself, where a lot of us do. And for me, I'm kind of halfway in it, you know? Like I know I need to keep going with this music shit for one thing, because I'm scared of shit of having a regular job again. I really don't want to go back to like the normal workforce again ever. And you know, there's something in the back of my mind too, where I want some kind of respect, I guess. I don't know what it is, but I know that kind of shit doesn't make you happy, man. I know it. You don't like, you know, when people want to win the lottery, or people want to get a record deal, or people like, it's not like you get a record deal and then you're just like, my goal is achieved and I am just in this state of perpetual bliss. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen no matter what, especially for money shit, especially because of money, man. I've learned that shit firsthand, and I've seen it with other people. I've seen movie stars that want to kill themselves. You know, it's crazy, man. But seen movie stars that want to kill themselves, and I've seen broke motherfuckers that are just love life. You know, so I don't know how I got to that, but anyway, I think this is the last question. It'd also be cool to give the listeners some hints about what to expect on your next album, style, producers, theme, etc. What you feel is divulgeable. I'm not gonna go into that, because I don't know exactly yet, because I have so much shit that I'm working on. I'm not exactly sure how I'm putting it out. Like, I might not even fuck around and put out an album. I might just drop a bunch of songs and videos. I might just do. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a bunch of EPs that all kind of have their little flavors. You know what I mean? Well, we'll see. All right. This is from Brian from Arnold, Maryland. Arnold. Question: if you could have any guests on your podcast / have a beer with them, alive or dead, who would they be and why? Ooh, guest on my podcast, alive or dead? Well, definitely Patrice O'Neal would be on top of that list, because he's a podcast, like, radio kind of dude anyway, and he's hilarious, and he's one of my idols. Especially in the last year, I've kind of just like gone down a Patrice O'Neal wormhole of just anything that I can find that has him on it. And I think he's just one of the smartest, realest dudes ever. And it's a shame that he died so young. But I don't know. He's become a real idol to me, because he, you know, a lot of the questions that even I was just addressing, the whole like what is success? What do you want? Like, what do you want, especially in the terms of the entertainment industry? Like I like the way that he looked at it. You know, just fucking be real, man. He's the ultimate and keep it real, even to his downfall. I don't know. But, you know, that begs the question, how happy was that motherfucker, you know? He's probably depressed and shit too, you know? But, let's see. So Patrice O'Neal would be one, but Patrice O'Neal would be podcast. I think that it says podcast / album / have a fucking beer with. I think those are 3 questions. So any guests dead or alive on my podcast would be Patrice O'Neal. Guests dead or alive on my album. I'm fucking Bob Marley, dude. Have Bob Marley on that motherfucker. Have Bob Marley sing a hook, dude? Get the fuck out of here, dude. I mean, come on. And have a beer with. Have a beer with. I mean, if you're saying alive or dead, you kind of have to pick dead. You know, like, I don't like, it's not somebody that's like alive on the earth that there is a chance that I could have a beer with them one day. I'm not gonna pick them. have a beer with. So that'd be somebody that's just interesting. Probably somebody that's funny, had good stories to tell. Probably one of those fucking old rock stars, man. Not Jim Morrison, because he'd be fucking too weird. Like, not Ozzy, because I wouldn't understand what he was saying. Who's like a dude like that that's dead though? Because I don't know. Not like John Lennon. Not John Lennon. He seems like he'd just be boring and talk about shit I didn't want to talk about, and then Yoko would be next to him probably. A beer with. Who would I have a beer with? Man, you can go way back in the day. About like, can Hitler speak English? What if you had a beer with Hitler? Just heard him yap about whatever the fuck he was talking about. And you just be laughing at him in a way. But, you know, that's kind of dark. Because you can't laugh at Hitler. It's just the shit he did was too fucked up. How about, you know what I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with motherfucking Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin, eat a dick, question over. All right. Oh, damn, I got 2 more questions. All right. What up, Wax? I haven't emailed you pretty much since you started the podcast. I've listened to every episode that you have put out. You answered my relationship question at the end of your 3rd episode. Yo, man, I appreciate you listening. 3rd episode was a fucking while back. That was back when I didn't know what I was doing. Because I'm so fucking knowledgeable and astute in the podcast world now and so well prepared. I'm the kid that had the tumor that gave you full control of my relationship. It worked out perfectly. Nice. We broke up. This is why I read this one. We broke up on good terms and still pound pissers from time to time. The reason that I wanted to read this email is simply because he said that. And you know he's not from America. I don't know exactly. Wait, I think you were from America, though. Just never heard of an American. Americans don't really say pissers. A pisser, they do say pisser. They say where they would, a pisser for an American is like, where's the bathroom? Where's the pisser? And even still, that's only like people from Massachusetts and shit that say that. Where's the pisser? We broke up on good terms and still pound pissers from time to time. It's like that old car smell, you feel? I gotta say, man, your music and your podcast have got me through a lot of life's bullshit. Appreciate that, man. All right. Could you hook Camino Jazz Club a shout out for some listeners to check out my Bandcamp or SoundCloud? It would be greatly appreciated. At soundcloud.com/Camino, CAMINO Jazz Club /death-of-a-salesman. I imagine if you just look up Camino Jazz Club on Google, you can find them. But I listened to a couple tracks on it. It's fucking dope, man. It's just real cool beats. So I do recommend that. And maybe you could find a beat that you like and you can pound pissers with your girl. All right, he has some quick questions too. Who is Bobby Bloodbath? Bobby Bloodbath is a character on me and EOM's album. I really fucked up. I really fucked up, man. I had a great idea and I didn't go through with it. When Kendrick did the control verse, I was starting to write a control verse response as Bobby Bloodbath. I was using the Straight Outta Compton beat, and it was going to be murderous, and it was just going to be so fucked up, talking about Kendrick's family by name and fucking horrendous acts he was going to do to him. But I actually kind of I didn't want to be so negative, especially considering that Kendrick probably is tied to some powerful people in Compton, and B, I was fucking lazy. What song took you the shortest / longest to write? You know what song I've done ever that took me the shortest amount of time to write was I have a song called My Future is a Big Wide Open Space. I just pretty much like kind of freestyled that one day and it just became a song. Longest to write, you know what took me a long time to write was Music and Liquor, because I just didn't, it's not like sometimes you don't sit down to write, or like Red took a long, you don't sit down to write these songs, you kind of have a track. Then every once in a while, you sit down for half an hour and think of one line or something. I remember Music and Liquor took me a long time to write, because it was really I just gathered up a bunch of thoughts and put it in a song form. And how do you know when a song is done? I don't know, man. You just kind of gotta be like, it's just like cooking. Making songs is just like cooking. Like, you don't want to undercook it, but you certainly don't want to overcook it either. I hear a lot of beats that are just overcooked. EOM mentions that on his upcoming album. On his upcoming album, which is fucking amazing. He's got a song where it's just him rapping, and he's talking about how his old beats is just overdone, you know. And I think it's very easy to overdo shit. Some of the best stuff is just super simple, but there's no right answer to that. How do you know when a song is done? You just kind of be like, oh, it doesn't need anything else, you know. Sometimes I think that I could do more with my songs, and I'm just lazy, you know. Like sometimes I think I tell myself like, yeah, we don't need no ad libs or no other shit. This shit should just be the raw shit. It sounds better like that. When in reality, what I'm saying is, I don't feel like doing any ad libs, and I don't feel like putting any other shit on it. But I appreciate that email. I actually didn't get your name besides Camino Jazz Club. It wasn't on there, so thanks, man. I appreciate the props. Okay, we got one more email. My name is Kent, and I'm from Edmonton, Canada. And he's been a big fan since New Crack. That's how I discovered your music. Started listening to the podcast on my day job a couple months ago. I didn't really have much praise this week, but I do have a question and recommendation for the podcast. Well, that was pretty praiseful in itself, man, and I really appreciate that. First of all, you played an unreleased freestyle roughly 27 minutes into podcast 46. Has it been released yet? I thought it was tight. I don't know if I put that out. I didn't do like a secret release. I know one time I put out that song just through the podcast, but if you haven't heard that one, 27 minutes into podcast 46, I know which one you're talking about. That was actually a collection of it's like a 6 minute long, just a bunch of fucking raps. I don't know that I'm gonna put it out. It's just old now. But I don't think I actually officially put it out ever. 2, you have a lot of younger fans asking you about relationship advice. I used to be much like these guys. The whole nice guy games never worked for me, and these girls I was hunting just went for the assholes. I stumbled upon this website a couple years ago, and my whole frame around women has changed. I would describe my teenage self as a beta orbiter. I don't know what the fuck that means. Somebody who wants to bang a specific girl and is basically her emotional tampon, always a shoulder for her to cry on, constant text messaging, etc. Well, yeah, that means that's essentially just like friend zone. She texts you about dudes. Yeah, that's if a girl texts you about dudes, you it's very not a good possibility that she wants to fuck you. This got me nowhere. I realized one day I need to make a change. Anybody who has alpha male friends knows what I'm talking about. The forum is rushvforum.com, and the main page where you can get the book and moderators post is rushv, that's ROOSHV.com. And I actually briefly went to this website. It seems like it's one of those websites where it kind of gives you advice on how to get chicks, and I read a couple of things on there, and thought they gave some good advice, man. I thought they gave some good advice. And I mean, yeah, I don't even have to tell you guys. I know that this is mostly a male podcast as far as listeners. I do have some female listeners. Shout out to you, Joanna in Dublin. I do have some female listeners, but even they would agree that since the beginning of time, the phenomenon has been that women don't really go for the nice guy. You know, some of them do, you know, and eventually they will. You know, when they stop being dumb. But usually women want a man that's kind of like a fucking, kind of an asshole. An alpha male is a better way to put it. You don't have to be an asshole to be one of those alpha male ladies man types of dudes. But they do like confidence, and they'd kind of rather have, they don't want, you know, every woman is different, but as far as like who they're going to just fuck out of nowhere, they want some confident motherfucker, you know? So, you know, one of the hardest things to do, I'm not some ladies, man, I'll tell you that for a fact, but one of the hardest things to do is feign confidence. And the second hardest thing to do, this is actually the first hardest thing to do if you're a dude and you're trying to like pick up a chick. The reason it's difficult is because it's very, like, what you have to do is an attractive female that you want to have sex with, you have to talk to her as if she's just a person. You ever notice that? Like, you be the funniest, cleverest, just a bad motherfucker when you're talking to like the middle-aged, average-looking person that's checking you out at the grocery store. You be funny as shit, have her laughing, all that shit. Then the minute like the waitress is cute and you have this and that little signal goes off in your bat brain that goes down to your balls that says I'm attracted to this person and want to have sex with this person, you're not funny anymore. You know what I'm saying? You are now awkward and most likely creepy, especially if you're me. For some reason, I just have my natural look, my natural face is creepy. It's sad. It's sad. I see it. I see how people treat me, and I see how other people that don't look creepy get treated. And unfortunately, I just have a default creepy face. You know, my enormous head doesn't help either. I have a creepy fucking face and head. And you know, I'm not asking for any fucking sympathy. You know, people have it a lot worse than me. Rather have creepy face than, you know, not have limbs. So you got to be fucking thankful for what you got. So yeah, what was I was gonna say something else about that though. Yeah, for, you know, that's in theory the way to talk to good-looking chicks is to just talk to them as if they're not any other person. You don't talk to a chick as if she's an attractive chick, which is like the ultimate in like easier said than done, because your brain works differently when it's being controlled by a different place. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. It's all stuff that you already knew, really. But yeah, go to this website, man. I'm sure that there's stuff you can learn from it. I mean, Kent from Edmonton did, you know. So shout out again to you, Kent, and to all of you guys listening. Where are we at time-wise? Damn, that's a long podcast. Hopefully that makes up a little bit for the lack of podcasts in recent weeks. So hopefully you guys will be somewhat satiated, as Ryan M. used. He used that word. I hadn't heard the word satiated in a while, but I think I'm going to get that back into my vocabulary regularly. What you eating over there? Just tell me. What do you got to eat? All right, y'all. Be safe out there.